Hi, in this video I'm going to guide you through 2 EFT tapping exercises so that you actually get to experience the power of this amazing technique. Because once you notice that you feel different, when you feel less upset or not upset, where you felt really upset 15 minutes before, you'll have the actual real life experience for yourself. Because I can talk about how amazing the power is, I can show you the science of it, tell you how it helped me to overcome my social anxiety disorder, how it helped my clients, but there's nothing more powerful and convincing than the actual experience yourself. So let's get into that. Now before we do, I'm going to assume that you familiarized yourself with the EFT tapping points. I'm going to really quickly go over them now. It's beginning of the eyebrows, really at the beginning, close to the base of your nose, beginning of your eyebrows. It's the side of your eyes, it's not at the temple, but really here at the bony part, side of the eyes, tap with 2 fingers. It's under the eyes and the bony part under your eyes. It's under the nose, right there. It's on your chin, which is actually not your chin, but the crease right there, so you tap there. You use the collarbone point. If you follow your collarbone, it ends in a thick knob, and right under there is an indent, a crease. That's where you tap. Since that might not be all that easy, you can make the claw out of your hand and you just tap in a general area at the end of your collarbone. Just the vibration of doing this will make sure that you hit the point. The good thing about EFT is that it's a very forgiving technique. You do not have to do it perfectly. You simply follow along what I do, you say what you say, and likely you'll feel a lot better after having gone over these 2 exercises. Now the following point is under the arm. If you were to wear a bra, it's where the bra strap meets under your arm, directly under your armpit. So it's right there. Then you have your liver point, which is 2 inches below the nipple, right there. You have the wrist point. You got these lines on your wrist. Just take the flat of your hand, again, very forgiving technique, and just slap your hand, you're hitting the wrist point. I know it's weird, I know it's wacky, it looks really stupid, I agree, but it works, alright? So the last point is the top of your head, the tippy top of your head, the crown of your head. You continuously tap there. Good, now that you know all that, let's get started. Okay, in this first EFT tapping exercise that I'm going to lead you through, I want to focus on self-acceptance. Because a lack of self-acceptance is something that everyone with social anxiety disorder seems to struggle with, whether they're aware of it or not. And with this video, I want to create a shift in how you feel about yourself as a result of having social anxiety. Because what we tend to do when we have social anxiety for a long time is we tend to judge ourselves for it pretty harshly. And so as a result, we not only have social anxiety and how it limits our life, we don't only have that problem, but we also have all our judgments and negative emotions about having the problem. And we do this self-judging and beating ourselves up because we have identified ourselves with the social anxiety. Now what tends to happen when we experience social anxiety for a long time is we start to associate who we are with the social anxiety, and we can't see ourselves anymore as separate from it. And as a result, we really judge ourselves negatively for it because, you know, we compare ourselves with people that do feel comfortable and relaxed in social situations, and we see how we're not, and then we beat ourselves up for it. And as a result of having identified who it is that we are with the social anxiety, we actually no longer see ourselves as having a problem, but we think that we are the problem. And that's where it gets really messy and very difficult to get out of. Now, once we change this by doing some EFT tapping on it, we can get to a place of accepting ourselves. And from this place, we can get rid of anything and everything that is in the way of, that is in between the pain of social anxiety disorder and the joy of emotional freedom. But the acceptance is step 1. Now before we start doing the EFT tapping, we first want to rate where it is that we are now with regards to our level of self-acceptance. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to say the following statement out loud and then rate it on a scale of 0 to 10 how true it feels to you. 10 being feels completely true, 0 doesn't feel true at all. And the statement is, I accept myself while I have this social anxiety. Good. And now rate from a scale of 0 to 10, how true does that feel for me? How much do I accept myself while I'm having social anxiety? And then write down your number. Good. Simply follow along, saying what I say out loud, tapping where I tap. Now we're going to start out with the karate chop point. I haven't shown that to you on video yet, but basically it's the base of the pinky finger, base of the wrist. In between there's this fleshy part. That's where we're going to tap on. Tap 2 fingers, 3 fingers, doesn't matter much. Or anything at all. Okay, good. Simply repeat after me out loud. Even though I have social anxiety and I'm so ashamed of it, I shouldn't have this. I hate having this. I really judge myself for having it. Others don't have it. What's wrong with me? I'm willing to be open to accepting myself with this challenge that I have. Even though I experience this anxiety in social situations, and it's my biggest secret, I don't want anyone to find out about it. And I feel anxious that they might find out about it. I want to accept myself right now. Even though I have this challenge with social anxiety. Even though I have this social anxiety and it seems like a big problem, because it seems like I am the problem. It seems like there's something wrong with me. But I'm okay. I just made the mistake of associating who I am with this challenge. And I now choose to separate myself from this challenge. And know that I'm okay. I choose to accept myself right now while I have this challenge. This challenge with social anxiety that I am separate from. Good, now we're going to tap over all the points. Tapping on the beginning of the eyebrows. Repeat after me out loud. I have social anxiety. Side of the eyes. And I'm afraid people might find out about it. On the eyes. I experience this challenge. On the nose. And I'm so ashamed of it. Chin. This challenge with social anxiety. Collarbone. I feel really bad for having it. Under the arms. I really judge myself harshly for it. On the liver point. What's wrong with me? Wrist point. I have a challenge with social anxiety. Top of the hat. And I feel so ashamed about it. Beginning of the eyebrows. Feels like I'm the problem. Side eyes. That there's something wrong with me. On the eyes. But what if that's not true? On the nose. What if I'm okay, but this social anxiety just sucks? Chin. I'm okay. Collarbone. This social anxiety just sucks. Under the arms. I am okay. I just have this challenge. Liver point. This social anxiety. Wrist point. And all my feelings about it. Top of the hat. I want to let them go. Beginning of the eyebrows. Even though I have social anxiety, I'm okay regardless. Side of the eyes. I want to accept myself even though I have social anxiety. On the eyes. I have social anxiety. On the nose. And what if I'm okay regardless? On the chin. I have this challenge. Collarbone. And I choose to accept who I am anyway. Under the arms. I accept that I have this challenge. And I choose to accept who I am anyway. On the liver point. I'm choosing to feel calm about this challenge. It may be what I have, but it doesn't define who I am. On the wrist point, I am not the challenge. I'm inherently okay. On the top of the head, I choose to accept myself now while I have social anxiety. Good. Deep breath. And relax. Good. Now, rate the statement again. Say out loud, I accept myself while I have social anxiety. And rate it again on a scale of 0 to 10, where you are now, and see if your number has changed. Now, likely there's a possibility for a profound shift, because both the self, who you are, and the social anxiety have been acknowledged. And likely for the first time, both have been acknowledged as totally separate from each other. Because the thing is, the real you is just hiding behind the social anxiety. The social anxiety is just a protection shield. You are not your social anxiety. So, hopefully this tapping has helped you to make that distinction. You are not the problem. The social anxiety is indeed a challenge which you can fully overcome when you apply EFT in the right way, but you're not a problem. You're not the problem, okay? And doing the tapping helps you shift how you feel about that. Now, there might be some remaining leftover judgments you have about yourself for having it. You might have remaining feelings about the condition itself and how it limits your life, and so on, and so there's more EFT tapping work to do in each and all of those feelings. However, this video was just to give you an experience of EFT so that you feel the shift inside of you. Okay? Now, if you did not experience a shift, if you did not feel any different after having gone over this video, that's okay, don't worry. EFT works for everyone when applied in the right way, and this video is just, it's general, right? It's for everyone. So if you did not experience a shift just yet, keep following along. That's why I created 2 EFT tapping exercises. With the following tapping exercise that's coming up now, you'll almost surely experience a shift in how it is that you feel. Okay? So let's get going. Now for this next exercise, I want to do some EFT tapping on anticipatory anxiety. That is fear and anxiety that you feel when you think about upcoming social situations. Now, almost everyone suffers from that deals with intense anxiety. So let's do some tapping on it. What I'd like you to do is to pick a social experience that you're afraid of facing. Now, examples can be, meeting with a boss, You know, going out with your friends to a bar, picking up groceries, standing in the checkout counter, going on a date, meeting new people, hanging out with your friends. You know, whatever it is that makes you feel anxious, pick one of these scenarios. And if you have multiple, which is very common, just pick the most intense one, the one that gives you the most fear and anxiety. Now, if possible, pick an event or an experience that's actually coming up. That might be the coming weekend, you know? And if that's possible, pick such an experience and then write down the name of it. And an example might be going to a bar with friends. Now, when you think about this upcoming event, try to get yourself to feel as anxious as you possibly can, and then rate on a scale of 0 to 10 how anxious you're able to feel the anxiety. And that is 0 is no anxiety at all, and 10 is as anxious as I've ever been. And write down your number. So now before we get into this tapping, just to be sure, so what you've written down is the name of the social event that's coming up and the intensity of the anxiety that you're able to feel thinking about it. Great, now let's start the tapping. Now before we do the tapping on the actual anxiety itself, we first want to address the possible subconscious resistance to letting go of the anxiety. Now what that specifically is, we'll get into, you'll learn more about once you keep following along below this video. But for now, just know that your subconscious mind, which is the deeper, far more powerful part of your brain, of your mind, that is actually in control, thinks that it's safer or better for you to keep the anxiety. And until we release that subconscious resistance, nothing much is going to change. The tapping is not going to be effective or not that effective. But when we tap and we voice the subconscious resistance, we release that resistance. Now, probably not permanently, but at least long enough to make a difference in the anxiety that you feel about the upcoming experience. Okay, let's get rid of that subconscious resistance then. So what I want you to do is I want you to tap both karate chops against each other. Remember, the karate chop is the fleshy part here, beginning of your pinky finger, beginning of your wrist, fleshy part. You have that on both sides, so you tap them together like this. Yes, I know you look like a dumbass when you're doing this, but simply follow along. So let's repeat after me out loud. Say, even though I don't want to let go of this social anxiety, I do want to accept myself. Even though I'm thinking about this event and I feel this social anxiety, and it's not safe to let it go, because it's protecting me from rejection, from embarrassment, from humiliation, from getting hurt, and many other things. And it's making sure that I come off in the right way. It's making sure that people approve of me and that I'm accepted. So I do not want to let go of this social anxiety because it's not safe. And maybe I don't deserve to let go of this social anxiety. Maybe I need to punish myself by holding on to it. Maybe I'd feel guilty without it. And who would I be without my social anxiety? How would I act? And what would people think of me? How would they judge me? I don't want to let go of my social anxiety because it feels unfamiliar without it. It's my shield against the public, and I need that. And it gives me a great excuse for certain things not working in my life, and I need that. So I refuse to let go of my social anxiety. but I do want to accept myself. Even though I don't want to let go of my social anxiety, for whatever reason, or for many reasons, whether these reasons are conscious or subconscious, logical or not, I refuse to let go of my social anxiety. I'm not going to do it, but I want to accept myself. Good, shake out your hands, take a breath. Now this has dealt with the subconscious resistance to letting go of the social anxiety. Likely it hasn't done anything for the anxiety itself, but it just has opened the door to releasing the anxiety that you feel when thinking about the event. It has made it possible for the tapping to become effective, because there's no longer a subconscious resistance going on. Okay? So now let's do some of the actual tapping. We're going to simply follow along, say what I say out loud, and when I am silent in the video, say out loud the experience that you have picked, and you'll be instructed when to do that by the subtitles that you find here. Okay, start tapping on the side of your hand and say, even though I'm afraid and anxious when I think about and I feel this anxiety in my body thinking about it, I want to accept myself and all my feelings. Even though when I think about I fear all these things going wrong, I feel anxious thinking about it, I don't want to go, I expect it's going to suck, I have all this anxiety thinking about it, and I want to accept myself and my feelings. Even though when I think about I feel really anxious, I'm afraid of what might go wrong, I'm afraid of the worst possible scenario coming true for me. I want to accept how I feel about this and be open to a new idea. Good. Tap on the beginning of your eyebrows. This fear and anxiety thinking about. So I ask, all these things that may go wrong. And I ask, I feel fearful and anxious thinking about, I don't know, I'm afraid they'll notice me being anxious. Chin. I have all these fears when I think about collarbone. Thinking about other arms makes me really feel fearful and anxious. Different point. This point. Thinking about going there makes me feel anxious. Top of the head, all this anxiety in my body. Good. Now start tapping on the beginning of your eyebrows, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say at each and every tapping point, I'm going to say, what if, and then you're going to say, what if, and you're going to attach a fear to that. So one of the fears that you're afraid of might happen when you go to that experience. So it might be, what if I get rejected? What if I embarrass myself? What if they humiliate me? What if I get really anxious and I can't escape and they see me getting anxious? What if I blush? What if I get rejected? What if I get into a fight? What if I get into an argument? And anything and everything that you can come up with, you say after I say what if. So you say, what if I get rejected? Okay, so you're voicing all the possible fears that you have about this upcoming experience. And if you run out of unique fears, simply repeat a fear that you have at a tapping point. Okay, so let's get started. What if sorry guys, what if other guys, what if and then else, what if on the chin, what if collarbone, what if on the arms, what if liver point, what if on the wrist point, what if top of the hat, what if good. So now you've voiced a couple of the fears you have as you've been tapping over these points. Now what we're going to do in this next round is we're going to be tapping over all the points, and I'm going to ask you to talk out loud saying what the worst case scenario is that you fear might happen. So an example might be, I'm at the party and I'm already feeling quite anxious, and two girls are coming up to me, and it seems like one of them is interested in me, and as soon as I notice that, I become really embarrassed, and I notice that they notice me becoming embarrassed, and I feel really uncomfortable about that, and it weirds them out, and they feel uncomfortable by me being weirded out, and they walk away, and they tell other people about it, and then I see other people laughing at me. All the attention is on me, and I feel like the biggest loser at the party, and I can't escape, and I'm just sitting it out, and I can't talk, and people are making fun of me, and they're mocking me, and blah blah blah. Basically, you come up with the worst case scenario, and as you're coming up with the worst case scenario, you're tapping. Take 1 or 2 sentences at each tapping point. I'm going to be silent, and you're simply going to tap along with me, tapping where I tap, voicing your story. Okay? Here we go. Beginning of the eyebrows. Side of the eyes. Under the eyes. Under the nose. Chin. Collarbone. Under the arms. Liver point. Wrist point. Top of the hat. Good. Now if you're still in your story, pause the video, keep tapping until you're done with the story. Now, we're going to do one more round. Simply follow along saying what I say out loud. my remaining anxiety thinking about, say, I want to accept that I have this anxiety. On the eyes, I accept myself even though I have some anxiety. On the nose, maybe what I have doesn't define who I am. Chin, all these remaining fears about what might happen. Collarbone, I want to find the resources in me to trust that I can handle whatever happens. Under the arms, I want to feel calm and relaxed, thinking about the liver point. Is remaining fear and anxiety when I think about on the wrist point. I want to let that go. Top of the head. I want to feel calm and relaxed. Beginning of the eyebrows. I choose to accept it if I become a bit anxious. Side of the eyes. I choose to accept myself even when I experience social anxiety. On the eyes. I accept all these fears that I have. On the nose. And I choose to feel calm and relaxed. Chin, is remaining fear and anxiety thinking about collarbone. I choose to be indifferent to whatever they think of me. Under the arms. I choose to feel calm and confident. Liver point. Any remaining fear or anxiety? Wrist point. I choose to let it go. Top of the head. I choose to feel calm and relaxed. Good. Take a deep breath in. Now think about the social experience that is upcoming again and see how you feel about it now. Notice if it is any different from how it was before. Notice if your number has changed, your intensity rating when you now think about that upcoming experience. Do you still feel just as anxious as before, or do you feel less anxious? Do you feel more calm? Now likely you feel a lot less anxious and a lot more calm when you think about this upcoming experience, and possibly you feel no anxiety at all. Now, it's most common that you feel a reduction in your fear and anxiety when you think about the upcoming experience, but there's still some remnants of anxiety that are left. And that is because this tapping that we did was just on the symptoms of the social anxiety. Now, to get rid of your social anxiety completely, to be totally anxiety-free in all social situations, and to have that state be to permanently be anxiety-free and feel confident in social situations, you need to get rid of the causes of the social anxiety being there in the first place. Now, you can see the problem of social anxiety as having a splinter in your finger, and the splinter in your finger is the actual cause. Now, an analogy of what we have done with the tapping is we've taken a painkiller and we've put a band-aid on the wound, so it doesn't hurt anymore, but it's still there. And in a while, because the root has not been dealt with, the splinter is still in your finger. The anxiety is not permanently gone, and likely it's going to come back again. and then you will have to do this video again and again. And every time when it comes back, you do this video again. Now, you do not have to do that anymore once you successfully get rid of the causes of the social anxiety being there. When you get rid of the splinter in your finger, then the wound can heal, and then you won't have that anxiety anymore. And when you do that in the right way, which I'll teach you in my social confidence system, then you can get to a place of being totally anxiety-free, feeling confident and relaxed in all social situations, actually enjoying yourself. And you won't have to continuously do this tapping, because your subconscious mind won't see any reason to give you anxiety, because it realizes you're safe and you're good enough, and as a result you can feel relaxed and confident. I hope this was helpful for you. You can keep going over this video and you'll continue getting benefit from it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.